Hey everybody, happy holidays. I'm not feeling well and I'm staying at home to avoid infecting anyone else. But I'm enjoying the calm and the quiet and doing a little cleanup and such. But I wanted to share a tune. If you're looking for something to do in January and February, come on board. The stories behind the songs. I've got an online sessions, 8 sessions running from January 7th to February 25th. It's going to be a lot of fun. Lots of fascinating characters, interesting stories, twists and turns through music history. Kind of telling the story of how we got to where we are today. But this is a tune from 1853 by a guy named John Mason Neale. He was a hymn writer, and his assistant, Thomas Helmore, sort of a collaborator, put this melody to it. This melody is from the 13th century, and they found it in a Finnish carol from the 1500s, I believe. And they put it together with this story that John Mason Neale wrote about a real historical figure, Wenceslas. His real name was Vaclav in Bohemian, but we call him Wenceslas. And he was a prince of Bohemia and was known to be very kind to his subjects and gave alms to the poor, etc. And he was murdered by his brother Boleslav. It's like a almost biblical fairy tale, good and evil kind of thing. But Boleslav was his sort of bad younger brother and killed him in the 930s. So we're talking 10th century. And within very short time of his death, there was about 4 biographies of Wenceslas, his life, and his myths spread across Europe. And in the 1580s, he was and there's my camera telling me my battery's low. In the 1580s, he was sainted by Pope Pius II, and posthumously, obviously all saints are posthumous, I guess, but also named a king posthumously. And this myth of the kind king, it goes, Arthurian legend is kind of wrapped up in this myth of the kind king, the good king. And but Wenceslas was another character in this, and much beloved. This myth was much beloved in Britain, and that's where John Mason Neale got the idea to do the story about the Feast of Stephen, Boxing Day, December 26th, when Wenceslas sees a peasant out collecting firewood, and he asks his page who he is, and we're going to take food and some wood, and we're going to be with him and celebrate him. So this is Good King Wenceslas, and happy holidays. Good King Wenceslas looked out on the Feast of Stephen, when the snow lay round about deep and crisp and even. Bright shone the moon that night, though the frost was cruel. When the poor men hove in sight, gathering winter fuel. Hear the page and stand by me, and if thou knowest it, telling yonder peasant, who is he, where and what is dwelling? Sorry lives a good league hence underneath the mountain, right against the forest fence, by St. Agnes fountain. Will bring me flesh and bring me wine, bring me pine logs hither. Thou and I shall see him dine when we bear them thither. Page and monarch forth they went together. Through the rude wind's wild lament and the bitter weather. Sire, the night is darker now and the wind blows stronger. Fails my heart, I know not how I can go no longer. Mark my footsteps, my good page, tread thou in them boldly. Thou shalt find the winter's rage, freeze thy blood less coldly. Well, in his master's steps he trod where the snow lay dented. He was in the very sod which the saint had printed. Therefore everyone be sure wealth or rank possessing, ye who now will bless the poor, shall yourselves find blessing. That's one of my favorite carols from that era, and it's a great area, that golden age of the British carol, the 1800s, when Queen Victoria had married Prince Albert, and he brought all this celebratory German tradition to England, which was not really known for celebrating Christmas. Well, it really changed, and you got all these great hymns, and that's one of them. Happy holidays, and I'll see you in 26.